You gotta be kidding me.
Must starts, risky starts, and don't starts for the Jets against the Patriots on Thursday night on Amazon Prime. My must start, I already talked about him once, and I think he's for real. It's Rhamondre Stevenson. The Jets are allowing 18.7 points per game to running backs this season. It's only 2 weeks. Big whoop, okay? Tony Pollard and Jordan Mason, both 8. And 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't know who either of those guys were. So we knew who Tony Pollard was. But still, it wasn't like it was like Bijan or anything like that. It was like, no, those are just guys that are like guys being dudes running the football against the Jets. And like I mentioned, averaging 27 opportunities in this Patriots offense, Rhamondre Stevenson is. He's a huge part of the game plan. He's my must start this week.
Of course. Why wouldn't you start him? He's a top 10 running back this year. My must start is nowhere near the top 10 right now, but I think you must still start Garrett Wilson because he is going to pay off once he gets a touchdown. And sure, he can get a touchdown against the Patriots just as he can get a touchdown against any team. But don't give up on Garrett Wilson. We talked about him in our Fluker for Real segment that this is a good opportunity to buy low. He's playing against good secondaries. And yeah, the Patriots have another good secondary, but you still got to roll them out, not just because of the draft capital, but because he's still the top target for Aaron Rodgers. This is the guy, and he's going to do great, and eventually he's going to have his big games, and it's going to snowball. So still continue to start Garrett Wilson. You must start him for Thursday night.
Facts. I agree. Garrett Wilson, roll him out. Big facts. My risky start, another guy we've talked about, Hunter Henry. Listen, he is a guy who can do this kind of game again. It doesn't tend to happen back-to-back much anymore nowadays. That was really in his Chargers days, so I'm a little bit worried. But here's the reality. Jacoby Brissett threw for 149 yards last week against the Seahawks. Hunter Henry had 109 receiving yards. All but 40 yards of Jacoby's offense in the passing game went to Hunter Henry. So the consistency might be a question mark. That's why he's a risky start here. But he had like 12 targets, over 100 receiving yards. That's a great game for a tight end, especially today. So he's my risky start. I'm a little hesitant. I think I'd still maybe go for a guy like Colby Parkinson, just to give if anyone's debating those two things. Parkinson wasn't very involved, but I think if you're debating those two things, if it's a very specific scenario, but I'd still lean more towards that direction. But he's a risky start, but Hunter Henry could be great.
He could be great. You never know. You know what I also don't know who could be great? And I don't know if you should play my risky start is Braelon Allen. I don't know if he can do this twice. And I know people are going to want to get him and they're going to want to see what happens, especially with all the running backs that are hurt and kind of the uncertainty of some of these other starting running backs we drafted, like Zamir White. And maybe you're still waiting on Jonathan Brooks to save your team. You know, the Carolina Panthers running back. I don't know, a lot of uncertainty in the running back position for a lot of players. Braelon Allen's there. Maybe you picked him up. I don't know if you should start him. That wasn't a lot of yards, and it was close range red zone touchdowns, and maybe it'll pan out. Maybe it will, but I don't think it will be the right, smart decision because Breece Hall is still the guy. Breece Hall still finished. Braelon Allen had nearly 20 points, and Breece Hall still had more fantasy points. So just consider that. There's my risky start. I don't like the idea of Braelon Allen, but no. Risky, no.
I'm terrified to do this because last time I did this, people got pissed at us in our TikTok comments, but all the reasons you just said he's a risky start is why Braelon Allen is my don't start for Thursday Night Football this week. Flashbacks to Xavier Worthy week 1. I just need to see it again to feel okay, even with all the injuries to the starters. I just need to see it again. And I like Braelon Allen coming into the season. He was my 4th running back in the class. I was disappointed he went to the Jets because I was like, man, what's the production look like? What's the future look like? What's the outlook like for him outside of a Breece Hall injury? Well, apparently they're going to be using him as a little bit of a change of pace guy. And when Breece, quote, needs a break, saw that from Nathaniel Hackett and Robert Saleh as well. But I need to see it again to feel okay. No matter the high praise he's getting, I think he's too much of a risk. So I'm saying don't start Braelon Allen.
I think we'll be okay. I don't think we'll have Xavier Worthy flashbacks because he's not a starter. Xavier Worthy was a starter.
That's my hope.
We'll see.
But the fantasy football world has been screwing me this season so far. So I don't know, dude. We'll see what happens.
Well, my don't start is Jalen Polk. Patriots wide receiver, got a nice little touchdown. No, he won't do that again. And if he does, we'll start talking about whether or not it's fluke or for real. And I'll say it's a fluke. If he has a good game for whatever reason, I'm not going to buy into him as a week 4 starter or something. But Jalen Polk, not the guy. None of the Patriots wide receivers actually are worth starting. Demario Douglas, I think, had 0 targets. He was probably the highest drafted Patriots wide receiver. Didn't even play on Sunday. So there's my don't start. Basically, none of the Patriots wide receivers.
Boom. There you go.